I'm going to paint a traditional watercolour. Hi everyone, Steve Elliott here. I'm doing a traditional watercolour today, and I start off with a thumbnail sketch to give me an idea where I'm going. Once I've got that sorted, I'm straight into the sketching. This is an absolute first for my channel, doing a traditional painting. I'm doing this because it is so hot. I don't want to switch my computer on. I just can't bear the heat from coming off that computer. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get my paints out and work traditionally. And I have a brand new set of watercolours. I've only used them once, I think, just to colour in an ink drawing actually. So there's a bit of sepia on there. And very excited about this because I haven't done a watercolour painting for probably over a year since I started this channel. So let's get stuck in. I begin by wetting the paper, and then I'm going in with some ultramarine blue onto that wet paper or to the water that's on the paper, and that just diffuses and gives me this lovely soft summer sky, because I'm kind of going in for a hot summer's day. This scene is made up. Somebody a friend described a scene to me that they would have loved a painting in, and it's their birthday at the weekend. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to knock that painting up that they described to me. Knock it up. It's not a very good birthday present, is it, to sort of knock it up? But anyway, I'm knocking up this watercolour. And what I want to know from you guys is, do you want to see more of this traditional painting, or is this channel strictly about digital painting and not traditional at all? Because I'm very happy to do more of this. I really enjoyed this, and I would definitely consider doing some more, and maybe even a full watercolour course. Who knows? In landscape painting, of course. I used to teach landscape painting quite a long while ago. I did it for quite a few years really. So, and I've written a book on it. I never got it published because it was back in the day before you could sort of self-publish on Amazon and that kind of thing. But I was sort of rethinking of, now I've got this YouTube channel of redoing that as a complete set of videos and a book. But anyway, that's besides the point. Just stick in the comments what you feel about that, or should I keep this strictly to a digital channel? The colours I used in this, I've used Ultramarine Blue and Winsor Yellow for the yellow. And you can just see in the background, there's sort of that distant hill. I used a little bit of alizarin crimson mixed in with the ultramarine blue for that. And I work with fairly large brushes most of the time. And I let the first wash dry. So I sort of made myself a cup of tea and went away and had a little break for a bit. And now I've come back in again, and I'm painting in some distant trees with a soft, very thin wash of ultramarine blue and that Winsor Yellow. Then I'm thinning it up a bit and just dropped a little bit of colour in there that sort of diffuses out and gives that distant thing. And then I paint in some more distant trees and this little village that's sort of nestling in this valley. So I think the camera's moving around because it's sort of on a stand on the desk and I'm sort of bumping it all the time. So I'm sorry about that. That is clearly something I would have to resolve. And I'm just building this up really slow. And you can see how thin the paint is by looking at the palette on the left-hand side. It's just dirty water, really. Putting in a little stone wall there. And something else I do a lot, I'm sort of wetting, you can see I'm wetting that dry wash and then dabbing it with tissue to lift out those distant trees. you can, if the pigment isn't a staining pigment like alizarin crimson is, you can pretty much lift the colour out right back to the white paper. Just putting some details on the trees there. I actually painted this in probably 45 minutes or something like that. Didn't take me too long at all, really. And then I've whisked it straight off to my mate who does all the framing for me. He's promised to frame it. So hopefully I will get this back tonight, and then I can let this friend have it as a birthday present on Saturday. Because I've been meaning to do this for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just sort of slipped my mind. And then my partner says, "Oh, we're at a birthday party at the weekend. Have you done that painting?" I said, "What painting? You know, the one that you said you'd like to do." Oh yeah, kind of that one. And then I'm thinking, that's going to be a stretch. That's going to be difficult to get that done in time, especially if I did it digitally and then get it printed. Then I've got to go into town and pick it all up and everything. So that was another reason why I decided to paint it. But it was really the hot weather, because it was just so nice. I got the window open. There was a little bit of a breeze, and I do mean a tiny breeze coming in, and so it made it a real pleasure to do this. You notice I've now added another colour, Cerulean Blue. I think that's how you pronounce it, Cerulean Blue. And I put that in the foreground to sort of indicate some bluebells. And then I mixed the Cerulean Blue with some Ultramarine Blue and put that in the trees to sort of add a balance, so it wasn't just sort of cutting the paper in half with the Cerulean Blue just on the foreground of the paper. You notice that I've just lifted out some of the shadow in that foreground tree. I do a lot of painting in and then sort of using water to soften off the edges at one side so it stays sharp one side and soft the other. And I'm just swinging this really. I'm just sort of making it up as I go along. That's the smallest brush that I use. I think that's a number 1. I normally work with I have a big flat brush and a big filbert type thing that's huge and dead floppy. And all my brushes, by the way, are pure sable. I haven't got any nylon or anything like that. So sort of quality, expensive brushes. And I'm painting on Aquarell paper on a pad. It's the first time I've used this pad, and I really like it. It stayed. The paper didn't cockle at all. Sometimes I've had pads and cheaper ones, and as soon as you wet them, they cockle up, and you might as well just take the paper off the pad. But this one stayed really flat all the way through the painting, so I can recommend that. That is, in fact, if I can find a link where you can get that pad from, I'll put that in the description below. I am using Winsor and Newton Artist quality paints. I got them at a real bargain from off the internet. I've had them a few years. I bought them thinking because this is the first time as well I've ever done a watercolor painting with cakes. Usually I use tubes of paint, and I've just signed that, so I must not have finished it yet. I always get a mount and just sort of lay a mount over it to see, is that looking good? And I'm thinking, yeah, that's all right. That's not too shabby. I'm quite happy with that. So I take the mount off and then carry on and add a few more things. And I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, I've always used tubes of paint. I've never ever tried cakes before. So this is the first time I've used them, and I don't know why I've not had them years ago, because I love them. They're so much easier than messing about with tubes. So I'll definitely be doing more with them, and I'll be able to take them out as well. It's dead easy. So there we go. The colours I used on this painting was Winsor Yellow. I used a bit of burnt sienna as well, by the way, in the trees. Ultramarine Blue and Cerulean Blue. Just those 4 colours, and that is it. So that is the end of my very first watercolour on this channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a big thumbs up, as always, is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, because I have lots of videos all about digital painting. But maybe I might be adding some traditional painting as well. So hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.